Have you ever wondered why the woman you love, the woman you're drawn to, suddenly shifts her tone? Why she grows distant, asks questions with hidden edges, or challenges you over something that seems so small? It's not cruelty. It's not random. It's a test. Not the kind you take with paper and pen, but the kind life itself delivers when you least expect it. And here's the secret the Stoics knew: the test is never about her. It's about you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What if the woman's test is simply life's way of asking, are you steady? Are you strong? Or do you break at the first wind? An ordinary story with a hidden truth. Picture this. A man and a woman sit across from each other in a crowded cafe, the air filled with the hum of voices, the clinking of cups, the faint swirl of laughter from strangers who have no idea that a small storm is about to pass between them. She leans forward, her eyes bright but unreadable, carrying that mixture of playfulness and gravity women have mastered through centuries of love and survival. "Would you fight for me?" she asks softly, "if someone else wanted me?" It sounds like a tease, like the kind of question tossed into the air on a lazy afternoon. But he feels it land heavy on his chest. He laughs too quickly, too nervously. Words tumble out in defense. He protests, he insists, he promises. He leans toward her, desperate for her to see his devotion. And in that quiet, merciless instant, he fails. Not because he does not love her. His love is real, aching, almost too much for one heart to contain. But because he does not yet understand the truth, love does not live in pleading. It does not shout to prove its worth. Love that is strong is steady, unshaken. Now imagine another man in the same cafe. She poses the same question. He does not flinch. He takes a slow sip of his coffee, eyes calm, mouth curved in a faint smile that says more than words ever could. He offers no defense, no rush to prove, no performance to earn her belief. And she feels it, the weight of his composure, the quiet anchor of his presence. A steadiness that speaks louder than promises, stronger than declarations. A man who does not need to prove he would fight for her, because his calm tells her he already has. Stoicism and the mystery of testing. The Stoics knew a truth that still unsettles the heart. Tests are not enemies. They are invitations. Invitations to rise, to prove, not to others, but to yourself, that you are more than impulse, more than insecurity, more than the storm that rages inside you. When a woman tests a man, she is not trying to wound him or strip him of his worth. She is searching for a place to rest her trust. She is asking, without saying the words, "Are you the steady ground beneath my feet, or will you shake when the winds begin to howl?" Epictetus once asked, "How long will you wait before you demand the best for yourself?" A woman's test is that question come alive. It is the quiet challenge wrapped inside a smile, hidden in an argument, whispered between lines of doubt. She wants to know, will you stand firm when emotions crash against you like waves? Can you hold stillness when her own insecurities rise to the surface? Will you protect your dignity even when provoked, even when the easiest choice is to lash out? These are not questions of love or loyalty. They are questions of strength. They are questions of anchor versus drift. And here is where so many men stumble. They confuse the test with rejection. They believe she is doubting their love, their worth, their masculinity. They hear her questions and think, she doesn't believe in me, she doesn't see me. But the truth is quieter, gentler, and far more demanding. She is asking, can I lean on you when I am tired? Will you stand when life presses down? Can I trust that you will not shatter when the world grows heavy? It is not about passing or failing. It is about showing, through calm eyes, through steady breath, through the unshaken weight of your presence, that you are a man who does not crumble. A man who remains. A man who understands that love, like life, does not ask for perfection. It asks for steadiness. And that steadiness is what turns the test into trust. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius lived in a world of storms, wars that shook empires, betrayals that cut deeper than any sword, and the endless ache of losing those he loved. Yet through it all, he sat in silence with his own thoughts and wrote words that have outlived centuries. In his meditations, he reminded himself, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." At first, those words feel cold, almost detached. But listen closer, and they become tender, like a hand on your shoulder, steadying you when your breath grows ragged. Aurelius was not telling us to ignore life's pain. He was reminding us that the real battle is always within. What does that mean for love? For the quiet but piercing moments when a woman tests the man beside her. She is not the cause of his anger, not the reason for his panic, not the source of his fear. Those storms rise from his own mind, from the stories he tells himself, from the fragile need to prove, from the unexamined insecurities he carries like hidden stones in his pockets. And here lies the secret. If you master your mind, the test dissolves before it even begins. You don't need to fight or defend. You don't need to scramble for words to hold on to her faith. A calm answer will do. Sometimes just a smile, gentle, unwavering, says more than 1,000 promises shouted in desperation. Silence, too, becomes power. Not the silence of retreat, but the silence of a man who knows himself so well that he no longer needs to explain. That kind of silence holds more strength than endless explanations, more truth than rehearsed speeches. These are the marks of a man shaped by Stoic discipline. Not perfect, not unfeeling, but anchored. A man who has faced himself first, and because of that, cannot be easily broken by the tests of others. Philosophy in today's world. In the quiet rhythms of modern love, the tests rarely announce themselves. They arrive softly, folded into everyday moments. She cancels plans at the last minute, leaving you with an empty evening and too much silence. She questions a decision you made, her voice edged with doubt. She turns cool when you expected warmth, and suddenly the air between you feels colder than winter. The untrained man feels the sting and reacts. He accuses, his words sharp. He chases, his presence desperate. He raises his voice as if volume could win back certainty. And in all his movement, he forgets the truth. Reaction is not strength, and noise is not love. But the man who has walked with the Stoics breathes differently. He does not rush to defend. He does not let fear climb into his chest. He pauses, he sees, and when he responds, he does so without surrendering the quiet center of his being. Because women do not test men to shatter them. They test to know if the man beside them is real, if he is steady when the ground shakes, if he can hold his calm when the storm rolls in. Anyone can charm in sunlight when the sky is kind. But who are you in the rain when the wind cuts and the night grows long? That is the question tucked into every test. Not do you love me enough to prove it? But are you strong enough to remain yourself even when love itself is uncertain? Conclusion. A call to look deeper. The next time you feel that quiet shift, the question hidden in her words, the challenge tucked inside her silence, remember this: She is not asking you to prove yourself with declarations or with desperate gestures. She is asking you to show, simply by the way you stand in the moment, that you are unshaken. Love does not live in speeches. It lives in presence. In the way you breathe when the air grows tense. In the calm of your eyes when the storm gathers. In the steadiness of your hand that does not tremble, even when hers does. Because love that is tested by storms, when it is rooted in clarity, does not break. It deepens. And respect, once earned in the stillness of silence, lasts far longer than the sweetest promise ever spoken. This is the Stoic secret every man must learn. Do not fear the test. Do not shrink from it, nor chase after it. Instead, become the man who no longer needs to pass it. The man whose strength is not in words, but in the quiet certainty that whatever comes, he will remain. If this spoke to you, share your story in the comments. Have you ever faced a test in love? How did you respond? And if you're ready to walk this path of strength, like, subscribe, and join us here at Daily Stoic, Strong Mindset. Because in the end, love doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for presence. And presence, steady, calm, unshaken, is the greatest proof of all.